All right, let's talk about one of the hottest supplements making the rounds right now, the lion's mane mushroom. You've probably seen it all over your social media feeds, but what does the actual science say? Let's get into it.
So, here's the big question, right? The main claim is that this wild-looking, shaggy fungus can genuinely boost your brain power. Is that for real, or is it just clever marketing? That's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer.
So first off, what is this thing? Well, its fancy scientific name is Hericium erinaceus, and it's not new at all. For centuries, it's been a big deal in places like China, Japan, and Korea, where it's used both in food and in traditional medicine. You might hear it called yamabushi-take or hoto-gu.
Okay, let's get to the main event, the reason everyone's talking about it, the potential benefits for our brain and our nerves. Could this stuff really be fuel for our neurons?
So what's the secret sauce here? Well, scientists have zeroed in on two very special compounds that you literally can't find anywhere else, hericenones and erinacines. These two seem to be the star players driving all the brain-boosting buzz.
So how might it actually work? Well, the theory is kind of a three-step process. First, you've got those unique compounds we just mentioned. Second, they're thought to actually stimulate the growth and repair of our nerve cells. And third, that whole process could help shield the brain from damage.
And you know, this isn't just a theory. There was a study in 2020 with people who had mild Alzheimer's. They took just 1 gram a day for almost a year. And guess what? Their scores on cognitive tests improved significantly compared to the placebo group. I mean, that is a really big deal, especially for Alzheimer's research.
And the potential wins might not even stop with cognition. Some animal studies are pointing to another angle. It looks like lion's mane's anti-inflammatory effects might help reduce behaviors linked to anxiety and depression. Now, it's an exciting idea, but we have to remember, so far, this evidence is coming from research on mice. But hey, it's not all about the brain. Researchers are also looking into how lion's mane could act as a sort of system-wide tune-up, for everything from your heart to your gut.
Just check this out. In one study, rats on a high-fat diet were given lion's mane extract. In just 28 days, their triglyceride levels dropped by 27%, and their weight gain was cut by a whopping 42%. Both of those are huge risk factors for heart disease.
And what about gut health? Well, the early research suggests a few really cool things. It might stop the growth of H. pylori. That's the nasty bacteria that can lead to stomach ulcers. It might also help protect the stomach lining itself and even calm down inflammation in conditions like IBD.
And the animal research on diabetes is also pretty compelling. In mice, lion's mane didn't just significantly lower their blood sugar levels, it also seemed to reduce the awful nerve pain that can sometimes come along with diabetes. That's a powerful 1-2 punch.
Okay, let's zoom in even further now, down to the microscopic level. Some of the most fascinating research is looking at how lion's mane could be acting like a tiny shield for our cells, protecting them from damage.
Now, I have to be super clear here. This is all very early preliminary stuff from labs and animal studies. But the findings are pretty eye-opening. In test tubes, the extract made some cancer cells die off faster, and in a study on mice, it slowed the spread of colon cancer to the lungs by 69%.
So why is this happening? A big piece of the puzzle seems to be its antioxidant muscle. To give you some perspective, one study looked at 14 different types of mushrooms, and lion's mane ranked number 4 for the highest antioxidant activity. It's a real powerhouse.
Okay, we've just gone through a ton of exciting, promising research. But now it is time for a very important reality check. We have to be careful to separate the potential from what's actually been proven in people.
And this chart really says it all. Look at the huge amount of research done in test tubes and on animals compared to the tiny amount of solid clinical trials on humans. There's a pretty big gap there that science still needs to bridge.
The source material from Healthline just nails it with this quote. While the current research is promising, more studies involving humans are needed to develop practical health applications for lion's mane mushrooms. That really is the most balanced way to think about it right now.
So, keeping all that in mind, if you're still curious about trying it, let's quickly run through a practical guide on how to approach it safely.
You've got a few options here. You can actually find it fresh or dried and cook with it. People say it has a kind of seafood-like taste. But for supplements, you're most likely to see it in capsules, as a powder you can mix into drinks, or as a liquid tincture.
Now, what about dosage? While that Alzheimer's study used 1 gram a day, there's really no standard dose. This part is so important. You absolutely have to talk to your doctor to figure out what dosage, if any, is right for you. And what about safety? This is pretty interesting. In the actual research studies, there have been 0 adverse side effects reported. It seems to be incredibly safe. The one major catch, of course, is for anyone with a known mushroom allergy or sensitivity. In that case, you should definitely steer clear.
So that brings us all the way back to our big original question. After digging through all the evidence, is lion's mane really some kind of miracle fungus?
Well, here's the bottom line. It shows a ton of exciting potential, no doubt, especially for the brain. It clearly packs a punch with its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory powers. But, and this is a big but, the huge majority of research is still in those early stages, not yet in humans. And while it does appear to be very safe, you've got to be cautious, especially if you have allergies.
You know, the journey of lion's mane from this ancient remedy to something studied in modern labs is just incredible. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other natural secrets are out there just waiting for science to catch up and show us what they can do?